So, good choices. We're going to go back and talk just a little bit about the words that you picked. And I wanted to explain to you how a lot of these words that you chose are common words that we see all the time, like you said. But another cool thing about them is that when you read them, they almost always mean the same thing, right? So if we were to read this word in this book or on this paper that I have here, it's almost always going to mean the same thing. So that's pretty cool. When you're reading, you just know what the words are. This one that you circled is a little bit different. What is that word?
Live.
Live. Can this word say anything else? It could also be said live. Like if you were to say, we went to watch the music live. So that's kind of a tricky one because it can be said two different ways. But you circled some really good ones. Is, one, of, the, on, they. This is another one. It's kind of hard to sound that word out, isn't it? Because otherwise, I mean, if we were to sound it out, it would sound like E maybe, but it's just one of those words, we see it and we have to know what it means. All right. So I printed off a couple other words quick. We're just going to look at a couple of these to try and, so when you came to this word in the book, you were able to sound it out really good. You looked at the picture really good. But there's another way with the word swimmers that we can figure out how to say it, how to read it. And that would be to cross off. If you were to cross off and be able to read that word a little bit easier, what would you cross off? Yep. So then we have what?
Swim.
Swim. And to make that word mean more than one, we have to add another M-E-R-S for swimmers.
Or could say swimming.
You're right, yeah. And then if we would have swimming, what do you have to do to swimming? Perfect. Good job. So just like swimmers, isn't it? Let's see here. This is kind of a tricky word. Do you remember what this word was from the book? I think you were onto it.
Walrus.
Wolves.
Oh,
Do you remember how to spell the word wolf? Just one wolf? It's actually, that's close, it's actually, remember, the F. W-O-L-F. That's why it gets so tricky when we come to a word like this. We can't just cross off the ending to see what one of them is, right? Because that F gets changed to V-E-S. So that's one of those words we just kind of have to remember, because there's not a really easy way to figure out what it is unless you were to look at the pictures, right? And okay, so now what I'd like you to do on the back of this paper, I'd like you to try to write your own couple of pages like the book that we read, and it can be animals from a place that you know really well. If you want to do animals from here in Wisconsin, or if you've ever traveled somewhere and got to see a lot of animals. So I want you to pick at least 3 different animals and try to write 2 sentences about them. Okay?